Welcome to episode 18 of the 910Preps podcast for Wednesday, December 18th, 2019. I'm Sonny Jones, coming to you from the Fayetteville Observer podcast studio with Rod Baxley, who covers high school sports for 910Preps.com and the Fayetteville Observer. The 910Preps podcast is posted Wednesdays at 5 p.m. on 910Preps.com and FayeObserver.com. It's also available through iTunes or your favorite podcast app. Search for 910Preps. Well, Rod, it's the holiday season.
It is.
Christmas, New Year's right around the corner, Santa coming, which, of course, it only means one thing for us. High school basketball holiday tournaments. You ready? We got them.
Let's do it.
Cumberland County Holiday Classic, Robeson County Shootout around the corner, which for us, we're ready to go with it. They start Thursday, December 19th. There are post-Christmas tournaments at West Bladen High School, Lee County High School, in the region. I'm sure there are many others.
Oh, yeah. Whole crowd of them.
Yeah, we'll try to get some of them as we go along, although not all today. So let's break down the Cumberland County Holiday Classic. 4 8-team brackets. They started this last year. It really is good. 2 girls brackets, 2 boys brackets. Championship games will be Saturday at Capel Arena on the campus of Fayetteville State University. Let's start with the boys in the Len Manus bracket. All games, except for the championship game, will be played at Westover High School. Here's Thursday's first-round pairings. Games begin at 4 p.m. and then just follow through. Wilmington Laney, 4-2 versus E.E. Smith, 3-4. Undefeated Westover, 7-0. The Wolverines carry Middle Creek, the opponent, 5-1. Fayetteville Christian at 4-6 plays Cape Fear, 4-2. 71st at 4-3 takes on Douglas Byrd at 0-9. So the Len Manus bracket, what do you see there?
Well, if we start from the beginning of this first one with the games here, if you want to get there for the first game, Wilmington Laney, very good player, DeMarcus McLaurin, double-double machine. He's averaging 15.4 points per game and 11.4 rebounds. So you'll see them play against the hometown team here in E.E. Smith. That's a good game to start us off with. But the marquee game in this first round of the Len Manus bracket is Westover 7-0 versus Middle Creek at 5-1. It should be a very fun game, and you look at 2 very good guards here. DeMarco Dunn, leading scorer in Cumberland County with 21.4 points per game. And Tahir Suggs for Middle Creek, 18.5 points. And what stood out to me about his stats was the 4.5 steals per game. That's pretty incredible. So that's the matchup to watch on Thursday in this bracket. And then you got a public school and a private school. So that should be a lot of fun. Freshman Tremaine Parker leading the Colts there with 18.7 points and 6.7 assists. And then Fayetteville Christian, a pair of really good senior guards. We've seen them on the Fab 40 circuit, which is a showcase event every year for some of the less heralded prospects. Very good event. Dante Gardner and Jaden Scriven. So that, again, with the public and private connections there, that should be a lot of fun as far as the fans getting to interact with each other. And then you look at 71st and Douglas Byrd, 71st. Without their top 8 scorers from last year, kind of unheard of. They did win the Ike Walker senior bracket behind Breon McLaurin. He's no longer there. So we'll see if they can make another run this year and kind of defend their title a little bit. Well, as the reigning champions, just try to win another one. They're not defending anything because they already won it. But that's what I see in that bracket. Obviously, Westover, Middle Creek, a big one to get us started there.
Yep, should be fun. Now let's go to the other boys bracket, the Ike Walker senior bracket. Those games will be played at Jack Britt High School, again, aside from the championship game. And those games begin Thursday, December 19th at 4 p.m. Here's our lineup. Wilmington Hoggard at 5-1 versus Grays Creek, 1-7. Southern Lee, 2-6 against Southview, 3-4. Terry Sanford is 5-1. They will play Wendell Corinth Holders at 1-7. And Jack Britt at 2-5, taking on Pine Forest at 7-1. What about this one?
Well, you look at Wilmington Hoggard, obviously a very good team. Grace Creek is kind of going through it, as the kids say. Brady Rankin, very good player for the Vikings, 20 points per game, so you expect them to advance to the second round. Southern Lee, very different from last year's team, which won the championship. No longer have Khalil Ridges, who was averaging who scored 25 points in that championship game to lead the Cavaliers past Pine Forest. So that'll be interesting to see which team, Southview, Southern Lee, will come out. We don't really know much about either one at this point, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
It's worth noting that Southview's already won more games this year than they did all of last year, so that program is taking some steps forward.
Yeah, Terry Sanford, very balanced group. 4 guys with more than 10 points per game. Quay McMillan leading the way, Kyron Kelly, Yates Johnson, Davis Monar. So first-year coach Carl Monar, as far as the boys basketball program, really doing a good job at getting them off to a good start this year. You look at Jack Britt, kind of cool to see Ike Walker Jr. in the Ike Walker senior bracket.
Very appropriate.
But Pine Forest, man, what a team they've got this year. After their runner-up finish in this event last season, you think Jimmy Pedon's going to really try to fire them up and get them ready for championship Saturday at Capel Arena. Freshman Isaiah Washington, 16.6 points per game to lead the Trojans. But Tristan Harkins, very good three-point shooter for them. I remember he had a very good championship game last year. He's averaging 13.1 points per game. And then kind of their leader here, Marcus Eskew, senior floor general, point guard, 12.3 points per game. I'd expect Pine Forest to have a lengthy stay in this tournament.
Okay, we'll see how that goes, and the Trojans are playing very, very well. Well, those are the boys' brackets in the Cumberland County Holiday Classic. Let's take a look at the girls' brackets. The girls' brackets broad.
Yeah, broad.
Broad. The Tom Jackson bracket will be played at Grays Creek High School. Again, games at 4 o'clock starting on Thursday. It opens with Grays Creek at 4-4 against undefeated East Bladen, 8-0, followed by Cape Fear 2-4 against Union Pines, 5-4. Terry Safford 1-5 against Garner Magnet, 7-3. Pine Forest 2-6 against Jack Britt, 6-1. How do you see the Tom Jackson?
Yeah, we talked about Southview's boys with more wins than they had last year to this point. Grays Creek girls, same scenario with first-year coach Rick Rota, who's very familiar with Bladen County,
yes,
having coached at West Bladen. So to go against East Bladen here in Patty Evers' program, always very good.
Good program.
Yeah,
Good program.
yeah. Nigel Wells, what a story for the Bears. 19.3 points per game, really coming along for them. It'll be fun to see her match up with the Mighty Eagles here in Patience Ward. Obviously, East Bladen, I expect them to make a run through this bracket, but we'll see. Cape Fear and Union Pines don't know much about either one of those teams, so I will find out with you guys as this thing goes.
Union Pines did beat Pinecrest Tuesday night.
Yeah, and then Terry Sanford and Gardner Magnet, kind of the same thing there. You got a team from out of the region that's 7-3. We'll see what they have, what kind of presence they can have in Cumberland County.
Does Garner Magnet really play sticky defense, like really sticks to you?
We'll see. I mean, they're 7-3, so not bad, right?
Check that out for me.
But Jack Britt, Pine Forest, the Jack Britt girls really have a chance to compete in that Sandhills conference this year. Nyla Cooper, who came over from Terry Sanford as their leader, 12.7 points per game, 4.4 assists, and 4.4 steals. So another player racking up the steals here. So it should be fun to see how this thing plays out.
All right, the other girls' bracket, the Gene Arrington bracket, will be played at Southview High School. Here are the first-round pairings, beginning at, again, 4 p.m. on Thursday. Scotland at 2-3 takes on Southview, 3-4. That will be followed by 7-0 Wilmington Hoggard, playing 1-8 Douglas Byrd. E.E. Smith, 8-1, plays Wendell Corinth Holders at 4-4. And the nightcap at Southview will be 71st, record of 6-2. They take on Westover, which has a 6-1 record. The E. Smith Invitational?
Yeah, pretty much. But we'll give a nod to Southview here in the first game. Mia Ayers averages a double-double with 10 points and 12 rebounds, but you touched on it. 8-1 Golden Bulls after their championship run last year in this event with Alex Scruggs, who's doing very well at Wake Forest. I mean, they got a win over Campbell earlier this week, right?
She's starting.
Well, the star for them this year is freshman Maya Giles Jones, double-double machine, 12 points, 10 rebounds per game. Should be very fun to see a new-look Golden Bulls squad try to navigate through their first tournament. And then 71st, another group that can compete for that Sandhills Conference title. Very balanced, two very good sophomores in Amore Kirkland and Ayana Williams, and then Naya Nick, the veteran of that group. And they're going against a Westover squad. We've been talking about the Westover boys, but Westover girls, man, 6-1, very good start for them. Faith Francis, their senior leader, with 14 points and 9 rebounds per game. So 71st Westover should be a very fun matchup in that bracket as far as the first-round games go.
Yeah, good way to cap off the evening, if you will. Consolation and semifinal round games will be played Friday at the 4 schools. Consolation games at 4 and 5:30. Of course, it will involve the first-round losers. 7 and 8:30, the semifinals of each bracket. Those schools. Consolation rounds on Saturday at the 4 schools, will be 10:30 a.m., noon, and 1:30. Nothing like a 10:30 a.m.
It's the game you don't want to be in.
No, you don't. For several reasons, 10:30 being one
Ball
of them.
bouncing off your feet, bouncing off your face,
and you've
maybe.
gone 0-2.
Yeah.
But what about the finals at Capel Arena, Rod?
Yeah,
What's the
championship
schedule?
Saturday at Fayetteville State's Capel Arena. The Gene Arrington Girls Bracket Championship will be at 2 p.m., followed by the Ike Walker Seniors Boys Bracket title game at 4 p.m., and then we'll close out the night with the Tom Jackson Girls Bracket game at 6 p.m., followed by the Lynn Manus Boys Bracket Championship game at 8 p.m.
Well, care to make some picks? What the heck? I'll tell you. Okay, these are my picks, and you can take them to the bank. You can maybe rob the bank. I don't know, but I'll go with E.E. Smith girls, Terry Sanford boys, East Bladen girls, Westover boys.
So you played it safe here, Sonny.
Yeah, well, Chicken is my middle name.
Well, I'm going to do the same thing because I'm not picking against those 4 teams.
Okay.
All four of them.
Agree on all of them.
No, yeah. I mean, I'm not. I mean, it should be fun, but when I look at all 4 of these teams, each of them have what it takes to win a tournament like this.
But don't overlook the Terry Sanford boys and that. Well, I mean, that Terry Sanford and Pine Forest boys can meet in the semifinals. Yeah. So whoever wins that one.
Yeah, Pine Forest boys might have the best chance as far as the teams we're not talking about here. But I like that group: E. Smith girls, Terry Sanford boys, East Bladen girls, Westover boys. So much depth, so much veteran leadership. I'd expect those 4 teams to earn some hardware on Saturday.
And no doubt, we'll go 4-0.
Yeah.
Well, Rod, another tournament you're familiar with that we want to touch on here during this podcast, the Robeson County Shootout, first and second round games at predetermined locations. Championship round on Saturday, December 21st at Purnell Sweat High School. Tournament opens Thursday, December 19th. Boys and girls teams from both schools, with one exception, will play in the first round. Girls games at 6, followed by the boys games at 7:30. It's St. Paul's at Red Springs, Lakeview, South Carolina at Lumberton, Dillon, South Carolina at Purnell Sweat. Now, the Fairmont girls will host Cape Fear Christian. The Fairmont boys will host South Columbus. Second round games on Friday, December 20th at St. Paul's and Red Springs. Let's start with the boys shootout. Give us the inside scoop on the Robeson County boys.
Well, we're so used to talking about Fairmont.
Yes,
I watched Fairmont and Lumberton play last week, and I got to tell you, Lumberton gave it to them. That's the first time I've seen that in quite a while. Fairmont, they're always going to be who they are. They're going to press. They're going to have a ton of athletes. But as far as the boys bracket, I look at Lumberton and what they've been able to do under first-year coach Brian Edwards. Jordan McNeil, very good guard for them. I see them finally getting over the hump. They've been to the title game the last 3 years and have been the runner-up. So it's been a big emphasis for them throughout this early part of the season to make it to the championship and get it done this year. I think they're a safe bet to do that in this bracket.
I'll go with that pick as well. And you know what they say about the runner-up? You're just the first loser.
Yeah, nobody wants to be second.
Yeah, that's right. Well, the girls' tournament, what do we got there? St. Paul's?
Quite a turnaround from St. Paul's. We talked about that 10:30 game, you not wanting to play in it. I remember in Mike Moses' first season with the Bulldogs being at the University of North Carolina at Pembroke at the Jones Center. They were playing in that 5th place game. Maybe 12 people were in the gym at that point. You could hear everything.
Not even the parents can get there.
No, you don't want to. You just want to eat breakfast and not have to watch basketball that early.
Yeah.
But what a turnaround for them. They've increased their win total each season. TJ Eichelberger, their top player, she's been there since that 5th place game. So they went from the hunters to the hunted. And boy, are they off to a great start this year. As you look at the Three Rivers Conference, seeing them in East Bladen later in the year should be a lot of fun. But I think the Lady Bulldogs are primed to possibly meet up with Dillon, who's won this tournament a few times, and they won it last year. So getting it back in Robeson County is obviously a big deal for these teams across the line here from Cumberland. And I think the Lady Bulldogs are in a position to do that with the team they have this year.
All right, so we got the Lumberton boys, the St. Paul's girls, and you can take those
more chalk
to the bank. That's right. Well, to sum it up, plenty of high school basketball during the holidays, much more than we can cover here on the podcast. So get out and support the schools and players. If you have a chance, you'll see some good basketball. A couple other things to touch on episode 18 of the 910Preps podcast. The Shrine Bowl football game is Saturday, December 21st, Wofford University. Some of the top high school seniors from North Carolina, South Carolina will meet also, more importantly, help raise funds for Shriners Hospitals. Who's in the game?
Yeah, we got two 910 Preps guys here.
Yes.
Two guys that are having a very good Wednesday with signing day. Azimdi Udo, Terry Sanford tight end, played a little bit of everywhere for the Bulldogs. He'll be playing for NC State next year. And then you got Caleb Krings, a Cape Fear offensive lineman who is expected to go to Elon. So congrats to those two. They'll be they're already there preparing for the week. So we'll see them Saturday, and then I think they're playing the game December 28th on replay of the game, so you'll be able to see it if you want.
On the TV.
On the TV, yeah.
All right. Well, last Saturday, the high school football season officially came to an end. Did you know Western bracket teams won all 8 state championships?
Yeah, it's
what in the world?
crazy.
Including Matthews Weddington beating Lee County 34-14. Rod, you were in Carter Finley Stadium in Raleigh for the 3 AA game. Weddington just too good for the Yellow Jackets, apparently.
Yeah, we talked about, me and Jonas Pope from the Raleigh News Observer talked about the 8-0 run for the West there. And we're just kind of in a wait till basketball season, but we'll give it back to you then. But yeah, Weddington, man, what a team that is. No shame in losing to that team. Will Shipley, 5-star recruit, running back, junior running back.
Oh, wow.
We've seen our share of great running backs this season in the Cape Fear region. Matthew Pemberton, Dorian Clark, DJ Jones, Keshawn Lindsay. Will Shipley, my goodness, he can go anywhere he wants. He rushed for 256 yards and 4 touchdowns, which was Weddington's offense. I think they had maybe a hair over 270 yards total offense. So when we're voting for the offensive MVP and the MVP, we got to put him down twice because there was nothing else outside of that. But Lee County, the Weddington coach after the game did say, look, they made it tougher on us than pretty much anybody else this year, and they were in the game. It was 21-14 in the third quarter. Very good night for Jaden Chalmers, another guy highly recruited who is going to be playing college football at North Carolina. He had a big 44-yard touchdown there, made a couple of big plays on special teams, blocked 2 kicks, I believe, and cornerback did his best there, obviously, with Will Shipley being the only guy on the Weddington offense doing anything. But Steve Bordeaux, after the game, really cool moment seeing him honor his seniors, Larry Baldwin, Colin Johnson, and Trey Underwood, which is kicker, quarterback, and a linebacker, talking about that group going 50-5 over their 4 seasons. It's very impressive, and doing something that no other Lee County team has done, which is win 15 games. Right. And considering the history of the program, to be able to do something like that, it's special. So maybe tough to embrace that in the moment right after losing the state championship, but when they look back on this season, they'll realize how special it was.
Yeah, 8-0 for the Western teams, pretty impressive, and I do not want to see the Twitter hashtag East is the least.
No, like I said, basketball season's coming, guys.
That's right.
All the big dogs are in the East.
All right. Well, congratulations to Cape Fear High School's Dallas Wilson, who was named the most outstanding wrestler of last weekend's WRAL Invitational Tournament in Raleigh. That's a big tournament, quite an accomplishment for Wilson. Guessing we'll see him competing for another state championship.
His name will come up
season.
again.
Yes, this won't be the last time. And before we go, I want to remind our listeners about the Athletes of the Week feature. Nominations must be submitted to sports@fayobserver.com by noon-ish on Mondays. Please include the player's name, school, class, and the statistics or achievements for which they should be considered. Also, a high-resolution head and shoulders photograph must be submitted with each nomination.
Yeah, I imagine we'll have plenty of action from the Holiday Classic that will have a say-so in the Athletes of the Week.
Send them on.
You're invited to follow the action on 910 Preps on Facebook and Twitter. Use hashtag Run910 on social media, and be sure to visit the 910preps.com website. You can also follow us on Twitter. I'm at Rod Baxley, and you can reach me by email at rbaxley@fayobserver.com.
And I'm at FO Sonny Jones on Twitter. Email sjones@fayobserver.com. Love to hear from you. That's it for episode 18 of the 910 Preps podcast for Wednesday, December 18th, 2019. Hope you enjoyed it. Tell your friends about the podcast and share on social media. It's posted Wednesdays at 5 p.m. on 910preps.com, iTunes, or your favorite podcast app. Search 910 Preps. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year as we take off next week from the podcast. And remember, leave Santa plenty of cookies, maybe some candy. For Rod Baxley, I'm Sonny Jones. Have a great week. Enjoy all the games.